When it comes to the easiest decks to play in Legends of Runeterra, Elites is the simplest archetype to master. You just need to play your units on curve or summon Battlesmith before playing them, keep them alive, champion strength, and then win the game, and sometimes mix it up with a concerted strike. In this video, we will be exploring my top 5 weakest elite units in Legends of Runeterra that will never see play. This list includes all elite units, even ones summoned by spells. And as always, if you enjoyed this type of bite-sized lore content, drop a like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Your active support helps the YouTube algorithm and helps me create more content. Without further ado, my name is Kryn, welcome to my Canadian apartment, and let's get started. Starting off at number 5, we have Gallant Rider, a 4-cost 4/4 elite unit who can become a 5/5 tough unit if they challenge. In elite decks, there's not many cards that grant challenger. While you could replace a few early game units with cards like LoR Duelist and Grand Plaza, it would make the deck worse since you want to be building up your board early in the game. In elite decks, you would rather have cards like Bannerman, blocking Badger Bear, or even Vanguard Firstblade who does what Gallant Rider does, but by themselves. But outside of elite decks, Gallant Rider can work beautifully in challenger-based Demacia decks. Play Durant Sculptor on round 2, Grand Plaza on 3, and then summon Gallant Rider for a big boy on round 4. Unfortunately, the challenger archetype needs a bit more tuning and support. J4 does a decent job, I feel like there should be another package that rewards challenger units. Riot, hint hint, now's the time to release Xin Zhao to bring an old archetype to life. But that's number 5. In number 4, we have Swiftwing Lancer. In elite decks, the 5-cost slot is already filled with Garen who works better with the deck's playstyle. Garen gives a board-wide buff and is also a regenerating tank who can take a lot of hits. Lancer, on the other hand, is a challenger unit that can probably take down a few units, but overall is a weaker unit than Garen. The Last Breath ability is also unreliable as it takes a random card from a pool of over 20 cards, with most of them being bad cards, aka this list. Screeching Dragon does the job more efficiently with its higher health and ramping damage. Lancer is not the worst, but it's not the best either. You could replace Garen with Lancer in an elite deck so it can fit Galio in, but preferably not. Like Gallant Rider, it's trying to make challenger elites work, but it's just very lackluster. And that's why Lancer is my number 4. Number 3, we have Captain Erica, who I mentioned in my previous top 5 worst boss followers in lore. Erica is a high cost unit that doesn't provide high cost value. You're using 8 mana to capture a single unit inside a 6/6 body with Spell Shield. On round 8 and forwards, this is not what you want to be doing with elite decks who should be planning to win the game by now. For 9 mana, you could play Champion Strength instead for a big swing. Or for 8 mana, you could be using Judgment instead of Erica to just permanently remove a full board instead of 1 unit. In summary, Captain Erica doesn't apply pressure, and you wouldn't want an 8-cost brick in your hand at game start. But at least Erica can provide value by themselves, unlike the last two. In number 2, we have Honored Lord. Like Gallant Rider, Honored Lord needs to challenge a unit to gain value, and elite decks don't carry many challenge cards except for Cataclysm. And there's many reasons why I'm putting Honored Lord so low on this list. The main one is that the 2-cost slot is so important for Demacia decks. You have Battlesmith, Durant Sculptor, and Petricite Broadwing. These cards are crucial for Demacia decks, so unlike Gallant Rider at the 4-cost spot, Honored Lord has tough competition. Even if you consider him in a challenge deck, you're pretty much better off with Petricite Broadwing for more flexibility. For so much setup to protect a 2-cost follower, it doesn't seem like value. But now for my honorable mention. In my last top 5, someone mentioned Dauntless Vanguard being power crept by a lot of units, and I'm here to state that Dauntless Vanguard is a good card with so much memeing potential. Sure, it's a weak free unit, but people forget that it's not just that. There are a total of 4 spells that summons Dauntless. That means you can use spell mana to summon them, and the spells can be duplicated by cards like Catalog of Regrets or be permabuffed by Wraith of Echoes. It's not meta, but it's a good, funny card. And now for number 1. In the number 1 spot for the worst elite unit, Vanguard the Lookout. As I said with Honored Lord, the 2-cost spot in elite decks is very important. With 1 attack, Vanguard Lookout is not a threat. You need to set up the card to make valuable trades when you're blocking. You're better off playing Vanguard Defender because tough is a very good early game keyword. And 2 attack can take out many early game threats. You could play Durant Architect to make Lookout a 6 attack unit, but then you're also attacking with Durant Architect who has a 1/4 stat line. Unlike the other cards on this list, I don't see a reason why I would ever put this card in a deck except for the memes. But that's that. Do you agree with my list? What did I miss? Anyways, I'm Kryn. Don't do illegal, don't play Yu-Gi-Oh! Alright, peace.